Welcome back, folks, to another episode of ASI Outdoors. I'm your host, Ben, licensed gunsmith via the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. So what do I have today for you is the top 5 shotguns coming to Canada in 2026. Just want to say thanks everyone for the support. Look for the Gary Cult Leader t-shirt that we have. You can get the Go Buck Yourself t-shirt. Go Buck Yourself hoodies, also got ASI Outdoors. Get compliments all the time on it. And then I gotta tell them that I'm the one who made it, and then they drop their jaw to the ground. So with that being said, let's get back into the video. So this is our top 5 list of the top 5 shotguns coming to Canada likely in 2026. The first one up on our list is going to be the Maverick SA. That is going to be a Turkish-made shotgun with the Maverick 88 name. Look at that to be a budget entry-level shotgun, priced similarly to the Gersans. Likely probably made similar factory, something to that effect. It is gas-driven, very interesting kind of little gun, very Turkish. Definitely not like your Texas Maverick 88. Classic. So people have yet to kind of put this to the test with doing things like a burn down that can be seen on channels like TFB TV. I'm going to put some of his footage in here so you can see the Maverick 88. They kind of gave him a first look at it and go through and take a look at what that is. So as you see, it's featuring a sleek black design, synthetic stock, kind of a more cheaper style finish. Still looks to be fairly robust and looks like it will do the job. I mean, I can just tell you from the Gersan MC312s, so those end up often running better than their Benelli counterparts, even though they're a fake version of, they just seem to run well. The Turks do make good guns. Of course, there's a few of them that slip through the cracks here and there that aren't the best, but this should be a good budget shooter for you guys coming up in 2026. The second gun on our list is a revision of a modern classic, the Franchi Affinity 3. So the Franchi Affinity 3 is of course the third version of the Franchi Affinity. It's been around for about 20 years now, very popular in waterfowl circles, super reliable, inertia-driven system. They just keep upgrading it over and over again. Like, I know even when I was initially looking to first purchase my first shotgun, the Franchi Affinity, the first version was like the best thing that you could buy at the time for the money. It's around $1,200 to $1,300 for a new Franchi Affinity. I'm not sure if the 3s are going to be also in that same kind of price range, but I would assume they probably will be. Yeah, so I have really nothing else to say but great things about this. I've never seen one in my hands as a gunsmith, which kind of goes to show that it's probably a good gun. It's just a good quality semi-automatic gun. It just works. It's a buy once, cry once kind of scenario where if you spend a little bit more for a semi-auto, you're gonna definitely enjoy it. You're not spending $2,500 like you would on some of these other Italian-made shotguns, but you're going to be kind of within that budget zone where you're just entering the market of highly reliable, buy once, cry once, last you for a lifetime firearm. So number 3 on our list leads us to the Stoeger V7000. So the V7000 is a newer version of the Stoeger Condor. I have personally actually shot the Condor myself at birds, and I've actually killed a number of ducks, harvested them using this gun. It is reliable, it does not jam. It is an over-under, it can only hold 2. 1 round in the top, 1 round in the bottom barrel, so that's all that you got. The other thing to add is, I believe it's made in Brazil, if it is similar to the last Stoeger that was made, the Condor. It's going to be around $1,000 to $1,300, similarly to the Franchi. It is a good option for somebody who is looking to do stuff like waterfowl hunting, upland game, even trap shooting and other stuff like that. It is a reliable gun. It is a heavier gun. It is not an aluminum piece of crap made in Turkey that I have personally shot myself and have tried to shoot ducks with, and it goes click and not bang. So I would personally choose an over-under like the D7000 over other guns. Of course, you're going to have your Brazilian walnut, other things that Stoeger is well known for. I mean, even going back to when I was 13 years old, the first pellet gun I ever had was a Stoeger, and it still works to this day, super accurate. I have not found a better pellet gun. The reason why I think my personal accuracy is so good is because the Stoeger always worked for me. The little scope they gave with it always worked, and I was able to teach myself at a young age with a super reliable, accurate pellet gun. Next up on our list, number 4, is a gun that was made by Savage. It's called the Savage 212. So you might be asking yourself, and as you're now seeing it on the screen, isn't this a rifle, Ben? Isn't this a list of shotguns? Well, believe it or not, this is a shotgun. This is a shotgun that is bolt action, specifically made for slug hunting in places like slug-only zones in Ontario, the prairies, and the islands. So Savage really knew their market here. As I've said before, Savage is a Canadian company. They're located in Lakefield, Ontario. They've been around for quite a while. Basically ended up buying what was left of Cooey and then what was left of Winchester after, I don't know, there's a lot of history there. They're made in Ontario. So the cool thing about the 212 is you don't see a lot of bolt action shotguns. You might see some older bolt action shotguns that were like from the USSR period, or like some crazy like 1940s frickin' 410 or something like that, but you're not gonna really see very many bolt action shotguns. I really like how Savage has made a platform to mount a proper scope on, something that's gonna actually be accurate, not just a point and shoot. And I feel like with increasing restrictions these days around things like shot size and also what caliber you're using, what methods you're using to hunt, I feel like this is a super interesting rifle. Even for places that have things like a primitive season, this absolutely is a game changer. So definitely check out the Savage. I'll have some video here of it on the screen. Take a look at that. Super sleek finish. Just absolutely gotta give props to Savage for coming out with such an interesting gun. Which leads us to number 5 on our list, which is going to be the Mossberg 590 RM. So you might also be asking yourself, well Ben, didn't the RM come out last year? It did. However, they now have a new RM that just came out that's called... So the 590 RM. So they already have a Canadian version, which is available in stores right now. Very kind of tactical-esque. Uses a pistol grip, almost AR style controls, magazine fed with a 10-round box magazine, so it does not feed from a magazine tube. It is pump action, has a Picatinny rail on the top. It's what you mount your sights on. Comes with manual flip-up sights that are iron. And then you also could mount something like a scope, like a red dot. Of course, whatever you decide to add. Adjustable rear stock. I believe the barrel length on that is 18.5 inches or 18 inches. So they also now have a shorter version of, for the American market, that requires a tax stamp. And that one is just over 26 inches with the stock deployed. So my hope is that we'll be able to get the version that is the shorter version, that's about 26 inches without the folding stock. So if there's a way to have a pin in the stock that is fixed, either like a rivet or something like that that's not easily removable, it would be legal in Canada. So my thought is, get in the new 590 RM. I really want one myself. The desert tan color that it has, I don't know if it's like Cerakote finish or what they have on there. It looks super cool. And even the pump on it, like the actual handle itself, you can tell it was made for quick, fast shooting with quick follow-up shots. It uses a box magazine. I love that. Can have extra magazines on the side. Looks kind of like a rocket lock the way it goes in there. Very, very cool gun. My top 5 on this list, and definitely one that I'm considering picking up myself. If you guys have enjoyed that top 5 list, give me a like, subscribe, and stay with me next week for another episode of Ace High Outdoors. Just an update, we have donated the money to the CCFR for the Gary and the Chipmunk shirt, which was $60, so we're going to do 3 entries to the 100 guns contest. If we do end up winning one of those 100 guns, I will use it for a video, and then we will give it away to one of the lucky subscribers on this channel. So thanks everyone for the help. Thanks everyone for the help supporting the channel, and thanks everyone for supporting the CCFR, because without people like the CCFR, the NFA, helping us to get our firearms rights restored and retain our firearms rights, we would probably not be here. So thanks everyone. I really appreciate the support. Every little bit helps.